This is in the Quran. Surely amongst your wives and your children, there are enemies to you. Huh? Oh, Corey, I don't know what's wrong with him.
I'm just saying.
The scripture said, surely amongst your wives and your children, there's an enemy to you. Let me tell you something, man. Don't be mad at me because I know my enemies when I see it. Don't be mad at me for calling out my enemies. If you will deceive and manipulate me, I don't have the sympathy that the weak have for you. That's Book of Corinthians right there.
There you go.
Man in my house, right. I paid for both my sister's wedding. I paid for my mom's second wedding. I did all this stuff to, become the man and be there for my sister, protect them. And I took his job, and this just pissed me off because he, but then he stopped coming around. We would go down to Florida where he lived, and he wouldn't come around no more. I guess he got a new person or whatever. I don't know what happened, but I wrote him a text message. I said, man, we just got back in each other's life, and now you want to act funny. I mean, you never was around. I mean, when we come down to your city, you could at least come down and, and I just went off. Just something with your ass. And he sent me this whole certified letter telling me that my mama was pregnant before when he went off to college and came back, she was pregnant. And he was still a virgin, so he don't know how she got pregnant. Immaculate conception. And I said, you're a damn lie. You trying to call my mama a hoe? And he said, I ain't calling her a hoe, but I know she knows some people.
Niggas know your mama.
Said, well, we need to prove it. I'm gonna fly down there. We gonna go to a blood test. But he was like, nah, this nigga big. He won't whip my. I don't want to see him in person because I don't want it to go down like that. Because so we did a swab, and we got the paternity test back, and it was crazy. It was like a movie. I'm trying to write the story now. And that, I was sitting there, and I get the results when I'm at the IHOP with my mom. She's sitting right across me, and I had the phone on speaker. I had to turn it off speaker because the lady was the paternity test. I ain't want my mom to hear this. So I said, yeah, go on, tell me what I need to know. And she gonna say, well, when it comes down to there, it was just like the Maury Pope.
You could have went on Maury, y'all about to say that.
Yeah, he said, did your father, that you talk with your father? 0.1. There he ain't my dad. There he ain't my dad. And I was like, holy shit. And I'm looking at my mom. Why you didn't tell me? And then I finally confronted her. And women always want to cry out of some situation. Like, he's lying. I said, he ain't lying. I got it right here.
I got a man growing up in the house telling you them ain't shit. You ain't gonna know them ain't shit. You damn near 40.
I wasn't mad at her. I was just own up to it.
Right.
I wasn't going. I love my mama. She was there for me from the get go.
Because no matter what, she's still your mom.
Yeah, she mama. It ain't that. She thought it was gonna change our relationship, which I don't think it did. But But when I got a wife, of course it was gonna change some kind of substance. But I just couldn't believe that she wasn't trying to own up to it. Then she finally owned up to it.
30% of the males who get DNA tested annually, and over 30% of them have been confirmed that he didn't do it. 0.0% paternity.
Greetings, you polite savages, and welcome to another Tip Talk. Club Shay Shay. Shannon Sharp Show is becoming our very own cultural Joe Rogan experience. We're underneath having comedians rant, having people blow things up and go viral. You can get to some very important topics. In this one, we're going to touch, as you already seen what it's about from the title, is literally paternity fraud, and how tons of men in this country, in the world even, because it's not just isolated to any race, are actually put in a worse situation a man can imagine. Now, we get a lot of light, and a lot of women want to scream and talk about deadbeat fathers. But how many of them sit down and have the real conversation about women lying, just lying about the paternity of the dead?
Two guys call in. They work at DNA testing centers. One guy had to quit. One guy still works there. He told me 40% of the children are not the man's child. 40%. 40%.
1 in 3 men are not the father. It's like 40%. 1 in 3.
That's too many.
Yeah, are not the father. 40% is what they said. That the last study said that 40% of men are raising children who are not theirs and they don't even know it.
That breaks my heart.
He said 40%.
Somebody call
and
Maury.
It's usually
make DNA testing
it's two
mandatory.
It's two scenarios. It's where the woman, the person's getting a DNA test because the woman claims that is their child. Turns out it's not. The other one is where the parent is on the deathbed and makes a confession.
Oh.
I'm just asking. A woman, let's say a woman, she done had at least 10 in her since she been alive. At least 10.
Right, that's low.
And ain't got nothing to show for it, but whatever she want to show to say, I'm a boss now.
Or they need they need a liver transplant, blood transfusion, and the blood type, there's no way that can actually be the father. So then they find out that because of medical reasons, you mean that's not my father? Then the father finds out from that way. He said it took such a toll on him that he could no longer do it because he would be sitting on the phone counseling the men and the grown children who these women falsely accuse. We see it on Maury, we see it on paternity court, but yet we say men need to be held accountable.
I just want you to imagine the narcissistic and self-centered nature of a human being to raise somebody their whole life, letting them think that their father, the person who assisted into bringing them into this world, is actually one person when it's another. Think about the lies that this woman had to tell this young man, how your father wasn't interested in being around, how your father didn't love you, how your father didn't care about you enough to come around, when all the time this man might have not even understood or knew he was actually the father of a child. He might have rode off into the sunset after a night of pleasure and indeed could be innocent of such a crippling title as deadbeat. But think of the other man that she put the child on, the man who raised the child or was attempting to be there for the child, but one thing or another didn't work out, and this man goes about his business. He had no connection to you, ma'am. He had no connection to that child. He was a free agent. How many of those men are straddled with child support? How many of those men are being unjustly persecuted? This is a tale of the Jezebel spirit mixed with narcissism, with a little touch of, I don't care, I'ma have it my way.
She was told a lot of lies. She was told I was in prison. She was told I was a violent thug. Don't get me wrong, I've had my day, man. We're all young once, yeah, but I never violent towards a woman. I was never like a dangerous thug. I never put my kid in danger or anything like that. But the lies and slander that
daughter by a trash bitch. A trash bitch. She raised my daughter. My daughter went to school and got all that education where she could take care of herself. But I wasn't around because I wasn't fit to be around her trash ass mama. So unfortunately, my daughter grew up under the rule of her mama. So where do you think my daughter is? Trash!
You know, women go through and women want to say they have it harder, but a woman will never have to second guess on whether or not her child belongs to her.
Right.
Not.
Oh, God.
His father.
Oh, man. 5 years in prison. Dylan, I'm sorry, bro. This is why. This is why I did what I did.
But this is nothing I made up. The lab did.
You made it all up.
No, I did not.
Well, those results are
I don't know any of those people on that form.
Oh, my.
There is a strange phenom called lack of accountability. Like Kevin Samuel said, accountability is kryptonite. And these women will deny. They'll get backed into the corner, but they'll still deny.
I finally confronted her, you know, and women always want to cry to the situation. You're like, he's lying. I said, he ain't lying. I got the right here, you know.
You are not his father. Are you kidding me?
This is a sickness of the highest order.
I knew it.
Environment. Okay.
Gianna, calm down, babe. It's okay. We're all here. We're all here. Juliana, I'm here with you. I'm not gonna leave you.
They'll deny it to the highest heavens. They'll cry. Tears will be streaming down their face. And these Jezebels will be lying. They'll go through all sorts of emotional changes to convince you. Lying. They'll sit there and swear up and down that they've never been with anyone except you. Lying. They'll sit there and tell, and there's not this guy or that guy, you're the only man they've ever seen. Lying. And why are they doing it? Because you see, sir, they needed the alpha seed, but they see you as the beta need. They see you as the person who's going to uplift them. They see you as the person who's going to pay. They're there to get you to pay. You are their pay pig, and that is why they cry that way.
I knew it.
Fireman.
Okay. Gianna, calm down, babe. It's okay. We're all here. We're all here. I'm here with you. I'm not gonna leave you.
I can hear the peanut gallery now. Ladies jumping in.
How dare you guys claim that every woman is engaged in some kind of paternity fraud? And if you really love her, you're not gonna doubt her one bit.
All right, stop the show. Number one, we never said all women, okay? And number two, men want guaranteed certainty that their child that's coming out of your belly through your little coochie hole was the baby batter that was coming out of that man's pastry baster. Because no man on earth wants to take care of another man's child for more than 18 years, being emotionally invested into that child and protecting that child from harm, being responsible for that child's actions if they were to do something bonehead. But ladies, I know you're in your feelings and you're going to totally disregard all I just had said. But maybe this one story will better further illustrate my point, where after telling it, you ladies know I am telling the truth. You guys might know I am half Vietnamese, growing up speaking Vietnamese as my first language. In fact, my mother came over here on a boat from Vietnam. And let me tell you this one story. Only happened a few years ago when I was having lunch with my aunt. We're there sitting in the kitchen. My aunt is playing around on her phone, giggling to herself, and then I ask her, Auntie, meaning, what are you thinking? Sao yi kai? Why are you chuckling to yourself? And this was her response. And I'm gonna say it in English without trying to imitate her voice. And she said, you know, I was just thinking to myself about why do I love my nieces and nephews more when they're born from my sister versus loving my nieces and my nephews that came from my brothers. And then it dawned on me, because I can guarantee that the paternity of my nieces and nephews came from my sisters. For my brother, on the other hand, I can't guarantee the paternity of my nieces and nephews because his wife is not related to me. So I know for sure that's not my DNA. So I don't know completely for sure that those be the kids of my brother. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, my polite savages, is why men want 100% certainty, guaranteed that that's his DNA, genetics, and his legacy, because he will be putting not only financial investment, but also emotional investment and physical investment to protecting that child. Thank you for listening to the THPPP Network. Follow us on all social medias. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is ScottT and Grover. Peace.
We found true happiness